So every Friday, we're lucky enough to have Hanging with Hustle. We got the great Jake Gallen joining us today. If you guys don't know what's happening over there with Emblem Vault, with Agent Hustle and MigrateFun, you guys are not really understanding the markets right now. And it's kind of seeing this dead zone in the markets actually opens up so much opportunity for something like MigrateFun. We are about to see the biggest migration event that has ever happened in the next 2 weeks, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. And you're going to see so many charts go to zero, and then so many charts go from zero to, I don't know, 10 million, 20 million. It's going to be absolutely awesome to see, and we're going to dig into this right now. So without further ado, let's bring in the great Jake Gallen. Jake, welcome back to On Chain Revolution. Thanks for being here, man.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Did you guys eat a lot of pie or what?
Got some good chocolate pie. Did you eat pie, Shizzy?
I had berry pie for the first time. It was phenomenal. I never had it before. It was like all these mixed berries. It was really good.
Oh, interesting.
That, so I can get away with that.
I'm curious, Jake. You know, Shizzy said in your intro, you know, you're going to see a lot of coins go to zero, and then you're going to see them like, you know, just skyrocket on the migration. And then when I heard that, I just instantaneously thought about like all of the social media farmers that like will post those and be like, oh my God. In my mind, I was like, should I be doing that? Because they get so much engagement. But does that get on your nerves as like, you know, the CEO of the company to see these large accounts that have 30,000, 50,000 followers be like, what happened, when they know what happened?
No, I think it's actually bullish. It brings attention to the token itself, because generally people are posting underneath it like, no, idiot, it's a migration, blah, blah, blah. But then all of that person's followers then go into the comments to see what's going on. Then they see it's a migration. Then they find the token. Then they find MigrateFun. And we see it happen every single time. We knew building this platform that there was going to be a lot of pushback. Obviously, we saw a lot of that in the very beginning and not as much recently, but you still have the engagement farmers who are going to say these projects rugged. And it's actually kind of funny because right before this, I was on a show with Pyro, who's one of our migrating teams, and I was going through the methodology of what's going to happen with these upcoming migrations, because we are using a different method this time, right? Because to migrate, when we're migrating to PumpFun and to Radium, we're migrating directly to the AMM and skipping the bonding curve. But with PumpFun, it's not possible. We tried to push for it many times, but ultimately they said their architecture doesn't allow for it. So we have to go through the bonding curve. So if you think of the sequence of events that's going to happen, we know that most migrations happen in the first 24 hours and the last 24 hours. And sometimes if there's enough participation, you see something called a migration squeeze, where it's like in the last 48 hours, 24 hours, you see this gigantic candle upwards because most of the supply is locked. And so you'll see sometimes, we've seen upwards of 200% candles in the last 24 hours. So you'll see this upward candle movement, and then you'll see the sell-off. And then with the PumpFun migrations, you take all that Solana and you're putting it through the bonding curve to then get up to the market cap that's targeted. So then you just see gigantic green candle upwards before anyone could even claim. And then on top of that, you're going to have all these bots that are going in and buying on top of that, because the bots don't know it's a migration. The bots are just see it as a green candle up, so they see it as bullish momentum, so they're going to buy. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see that 48-hour period between the last 24 hours of the migration and then going through the PumpFun bonding curve and seeing kind of how that all plays out. Yeah, really, really exciting times. And man, if we execute this properly, then I think it's just going to lead to an enormous amount of demand for the product itself.
Yeah, for sure. And this being the biggest migration event in history, I mean, there's never been anything. I actually looked into it. There's never been anything like this before. It's pretty wild. What are you expecting from that sense of just, you know, how many teams is it and everything? It's
23 like teams, 23 teams migrating. We might end up actually doing another migration group at the end. of the month, because there's teams who miss this group who are going to PumpFun. There's teams that want to go to Radium. We've been getting some requests for Meteora. There's some teams that want to go to BonkFun. So we're trying to organize that. So it might be like the end of the month or maybe beginning of January for those teams. But yeah, it's about 4 to 5 million in liquidity. This is after the market is sold off. At one point, it was like 20 million in liquidity, but some teams have decided to wait. We've started talking with all these exchanges. This is the most strenuous part of it, and all these exchanges have different rules and demands. I was on a call with Binance at midnight like a day or two ago, trying to talk through their policies and procedures. So it's a lot of work, but I'm excited. We actually shared with the team. So December 9th is when it's starting. We're gonna post the date next week from the MigrateFun accounts. It's holiday weekend, so anything being posted is just not going to see that much attention. But we're letting the teams go ahead and share within their communities. I've learned through now 3 years of product launches, never launch a product on Monday. So you got to do it on a Tuesday. And yeah, it's going to be exciting. 23 teams. We've seen they're going to go anywhere from, I think, 7 days to 2 weeks. This seems to be the majority of the time period. So most of them will be ending before Christmas. And yeah, Pump's excited. We're excited. We've been testing this new methodology. I've learned a lot about sniping over the past few weeks and how that whole ecosystem works on Solana. And yeah, as long as we execute, man, there's 3 million Solana locked in Pump liquidity pools. So there's an enormous amount of volume and value that can be unlocked once the right amount of people see this new product.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a big step for sure. Obviously, Pump is the largest brand across all of crypto in terms of meme coin launchpads. Shizzy and I were looking at the dominance today, actually, and I put my conspiracy hat on. I was like, this has to be orchestrated. I mean, you're looking at the number one PumpFun doing 559 million, 100 million in volume, and number two being Bonk doing 3.4 million. And so that's so wild how crazy the number one to number two is. Yeah, so are they just you feel like they're just dominating like the KOL networks and all that stuff? Is that what you think it is, or do you think this is kind of just their brand power?
Well, you think Pump had basically a 1.5 year head start on everyone. I do suspect Bonk will catch up a little bit once their Kick partnership launches, if that's still happening, once they get into the streaming world. Because once you start aligning those brands between Bonk and Kick and World Liberty Fi, maybe it brings attention, maybe it doesn't. But Pump, as we know, first movers generally have a pretty big advantage, right? Through the Lindy effect, the Pump wrote the playbook, right? And they're just continually innovating and changing the playbook and setting new narratives. They're leaning into ICM. They weren't the first to lean into ICM, right? They didn't create the ICM labeling, right? That was Believe, I believe. And then Bonk leaned into ICM. So now Pump is kind of late to the party here, but they have that brand power. They have that attention. And honestly, they have that user behavior. There's a lot of people who've been trading on PumpFun for almost 2 years now at this point, since they launched. And I've learned personally that when we launch Emblem markets, it is really hard to get people off of OpenSea because they've just become so accustomed to using it that they don't want to change. And so I think that user behavior and lock-in is really, really important. And now PumpFun has resources. They have $2 billion, right, to go point at whatever they do. They still continue to command about $1 million in revenue per day, right? That goes into buybacks or whatever they want to do it. So they have a lot of resources. And just from my conversations with Alon and the Pump team, they seem quite committed to this. I don't think they would be sending us business as a third party if they didn't fully believe in what they were doing in ICM, right? So I don't know that many partnerships that Pump, establishes himself with. And I'm not saying that we're a partnership, but they've been sending us literally all of their business. So, call it whatever you want. But I don't think that they would do that if they weren't convinced themselves that they were ready to dominate the market. And so for us, we're we're a third-party platform. Our focus is the clients, right? The teams. And right now teams want to migrate to PumpFun. So we're going to help them migrate to PumpFun. If teams want to go wherever they want, some teams that reach out to us, they don't want to go to PumpFun. They want to go to Radium, or they want to go to Meteor or whatever. But PumpFun does seem like they have the attention. That is no doubt in their mind. They have the resources. There's no doubt there. They're going to have to execute on ICM just as like MigrateFun's going to have to execute on the migrations.
Yeah. And these teams that are migrating on the 9th, will they be able to do the stream as stuff as well? So when they're on Pump, they're going to be able to do everything.
Yeah. So basically how the system works, and I'll try to explain it without getting too deep into the technicals. We are using the PumpFun SDK. So everything that's created is running through their system. This is why Pump forced us to use the SDK and not migrate straight to Pump Swap. I guess their system, you have to go through the bonding curve. So once these projects launch, they will be immediately bonded because we're buying out the bonding curve, plus using a variety of technical implementations to prevent snipers from coming in. And you're basically then taking the excess Solana that's recovered from the old pool, buying out the bonding curve, plus buying out in excessive amounts to the targeted market cap of the previous token. And once that's done, they'll open up the claims for everyone to come claim those tokens, and they will have immediate access to those creator awards in the PumpFun creator system, as well as all of the features that PumpFun offers, from the streaming services, the creator awards, and whatever else is really to come. I don't know where their connection is with the trading terminal that they just acquired in KOL Scan, but Pump sends us a lot of the projects. Obviously, a lot of them want to leave Believe at this time, right? And it's kind of funny that the Believe migration was kind of the death of the product itself. But you have to execute it right, or else it is ultimately a fail. That's why there is a lot of pressure on us to execute. But we're very confident in being able to do it, and a lot of people want to be in Pump because they know that they're very serious and that they're going to continue to add features to this ecosystem. Like they just added a trading terminal, right? They changed the creator awards to focus on ICM. We don't know. They don't tell us what their marketing strategy is, probably for the better, to be honest. We just communicate with them on the technicals and the onboarding of the team. And we're going to have a conversation with them next week around the migration event itself. And, we'll kind of see where it goes. But every team that migrates to PumpFun, you get the same exact features that everyone else does.
I wonder how many teams you have lined up from the Believe ecosystem, because
there's like 12, I think 12 or 13.
Okay,
so it's like half of this group.
Okay, and I'm sure you're gonna have more, because looking at that chart, I think Believe did like $3,000 or something crazy in volume, and obviously it starts with leadership. I totally believe that, right? And Pasternak obviously pivoting into something else. No shocker, honestly, from my side, because I did dabble over there, and I'm not trying to take shots, even though I did try to take shots, and I did. Okay, but with that being said, I imagine there's a couple of good teams over there, that actually were building. Kled is one of them. I'm surprised they haven't reached out to you guys yet, because they actually have a solid market cap and business model there. Do you expect them to continually line up? Because at this point, it might just dissipate eventually. And how are they going to, continue business?
So Meteor has been supporting them, where Meteor essentially is just changing the tag on the back end from Believe to Meteora. The liquidity still remains locked because that is an on-chain function. But because Believe is a centralized product, right, they have this ability to change different things on the back end. So Meteor has just gone in and claimed migration, but it's not a migration. It's just simply changing the fees, I believe, to the team instead of to Believe. And I think that's why their $3,000 is changed. It seems like he's kind of just thrown in the towel without even saying it. Maybe the migrations, the people moving to Meteora or the people that are moving to PumpFun here has kind of signaled to him that he's kind of giving up, especially with that recent post. But, neither here nor there. We're here to support teams. We've talked with probably 20 Believe teams, ended up with about 12 or 13, and a handful of them went over to Meteora. But again, that liquidity is still locked if they want to migrate to Pump, or if they want to migrate to another Radia or a Radium pool or PumpFun or another Meteora pool. They are, fully able to do so. So we're going to continue to build different integrations throughout the year. As we've been talking with other launchpads and AMMs, we want to offer the full suite of AMMs, at the very least. Launchpads are just much more difficult to build integration points into. It takes a lot of business development. It takes a lot of engineering to do. But these platforms like, Meteora, Radium, Orca, they have open source SDKs that are just easy to add. Whereas some of the other ones, it takes the other team to participate. And unfortunately, some of the conversations we've had with some of these founders, they're somewhat resistant towards us. Maybe they see us as like controversial, or they see us as competition, or whatever it is. That's up to them to decide. But we're just here to support the customers, and wherever they want to go, we're going to take them. And if we have partners that are willing to work with us, we're willing to work with them and create a symbiotic relationship that, brings business to their platform. So we just want to create a situation where everyone wins.
Yeah, and that's all you guys are doing, right? You're helping people that want to be helped, and if nobody wants to be helped, then you're obviously doing a great job, right? When it comes to the launchpad and stuff like that, right? But earlier you mentioned, you really took a deep dive into sniping and stuff like that. I'm curious, is there anything that surprised you while you're taking that deep dive? Is there anything different that maybe you didn't know before?
Yeah, a lot of these sniping bot or sniping systems are much more than sniping. There's actually like a coordinated
bundling,
but not just bundling. So recently, we were testing the PumpFun migration tool, and we had launched it with and without the sniper protection. And when I say sniper protection, it's like a variety of technical tools we use to ensure that snipers can't get into that transaction. And when we did it without, it was definitely sniped for sure. A portion of it, not the whole thing, but a portion. But the interesting thing that I saw is that when we had done it, there was a handful of accounts that I had never seen before enter our Telegram, the Hustle Telegram. We did it at night, so no one was really watching. And they were asking for this new CA that we'd launched and kind of claiming that there was like a new hustle token. So what we had come to realize is that these sniping networks actually have bot networks that monitor certain accounts and certain wallets. And then if they ever deploy a contract, they have bots in that Telegram to increase artificial hype to get other people to buy this token because they sniped it so that they could dump on everybody. So it's much more than just sniping on a technical level. They have coordinated bots across Twitter and Telegram and Discord to create artificial hype so that when they snipe it, other people buy into the eventual dump.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I wonder if like groups like Lazarus Groups has like a department over there, and they're like, this is the sniper department, and obviously the bots have to sound human, right? And now I think about like arguing with some people in Telegram before, and I'm like, damn, was that a bot? He sounded legit. He's like, stop fudding and all this, blah, 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 right? And I'm like, oh my god, that could be a thing that, but. That was a great question, Shizzy, about the sniping, because I'm curious too. There's been projects. Monad just launched, and there's a big project over there that tried to avoid snipers. And speaking of snipers, are we talking about like just someone on Axiom, someone on GMGN's bot, or is it like a separate type of approach to that?
So these are usually these like FNF groups that you see popping up on Solana. These are generally like the teams who have built the technology for it. Most of it's customized. We actually talked with a few FNF groups as well to kind of understand.
FNF, can you?
I don't know what it stands for, but these you'll see like in people's handles, it says something FNF.
Gotcha.
That's generally like coordinated sniping groups. And there's actually like a wide variety of sniping tools that you can actually use on these different websites for just like the average retail user. So it is like a quite large market. And what we've come to find out is all of these things are very highly customized. This is what gave us confidence that we can actually do this, because if these teams are out here building these sniping tools, and obviously there's sniper protection mechanisms, and there's a few, depending on what chain you're on, whether it's EVM or Solana, they're different. Solana has this architecture that doesn't have nonces. So a nonces means it has to be one transaction after another in a coordinated way, right? That's what you see on MetaMask. But in Solana, you could bundle a lot of transactions in a single, or a lot of executions in a single transaction. But there is a data limit that's on it, right? And then basically what you do then is you can use,
that's like rolling up like mini transactions.
yeah.
or
So
something.
yeah. So basically how it works is like you, well, what most of the snipers do is they use multiple wallets to basically try to buy into this token that's launching on the bonding curve. They have to get in the bonding curve, or else it makes the snipe not as effective, because you're buying the token at market value. If you buy it on the bonding curve, then you're getting it at a much cheaper rate than everybody else, right? So they try to get all of these transactions from different wallets bundled together. Usually it's using Jito bundle and like a private node service, but there's some other techniques as well. And they try to get it all into one, and then they try to disperse it, and then they use these different mixing services to try to mix the wallet so that you can't track it on bubble maps. We're a little bit different though, right? Because we have to do it all from one wallet, because we have to get the tokens and then move it into the the vault and stuff. So we have these different techniques that we're using to, obfuscate and bundle and stuff like that to do. And we've tested it now a bunch of times, where if you have the sniper protection off, it clearly gets sniped every time. And then you have it turned on, even from that same wallet that we're testing from, and there's no snipers in it. So it's going to work. Go ahead.
I was going to say, do you think that those sniping groups are a big part of the issue why some of these tokens can't reach higher market caps?
It's like the main issue, yeah.
Like they just can't reach it because there's so many different wallets that are only there to take profit. There's no emotions. It's basically being triggered constantly.
FNF usually means friends and family in crypto sniping. On Twitter often means the follow for follow, mutual follow tag. So friends and family sniping, yeah. So it's been a pretty big lesson learning. These are very sophisticated networks. Obviously, sniping also happens on ETH. It just happens in a different way because you have these things called nonces. So you have to order the transactions one by one. Whereas on Solana, you could bundle a lot of them together, and then you're usually using Jito bundle or one of the other MEV tools to then bundle those transactions on top of each other. So it's like you could have 10 to 15 executions in a transaction, and then you can put all of those transactions into a single Jito bundle to then ensure it. For us, it's unique because we have to buy out the bonding curve. But the cool part is, like, when you're deploying on PumpFun, the first transaction is the deployer itself. So for us, it's either the transaction goes through or it doesn't. So if the transaction doesn't go through, then nothing happens. But if it goes through, then you have to make sure that everything happens in its entirety. There's still a few things, obviously, that, there's always going to be ways around things. So you can't say anything's 100% certain in crypto, because there's always new things that are being created, especially in the tech world. But yeah, it's exciting. It's an exciting time. I think if this executes properly and it's this very big attention event, no doubt there's probably going to be hundreds of teams who are going to want to run into this. And then especially in Q1, when the MigrateFun platform becomes public and it doesn't require these groups and for people to reach out to us manually, and you could just set up a migration in a permissionless way, I think that's when it really starts to get crazy, because people are going to start using it for vampire attacks and different things like that.
Yeah, for sure. That's going to be kind of cool to see too. Like when, Melania gets vampire attack or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's going to be definitely fun to see. So now that you've done already a couple migrations, right? You guys feel really comfortable with this. Obviously, there's a lot of new stuff going into this one. But what have you learned on this journey now to kind of make this one like flawless?
Yeah. I would say with there's a reason why a migration platform hasn't existed, is because there's so many levels to it. In this last few weeks, we've basically built all these relationships with these centralized exchanges, and have been taking a deep dive into all of how these centralized exchanges work. Some of them have a centralized model. There's a DEX model. There's a CDeFi model. I actually got on a call with the tier 1 exchange last week. And they had told us that they had been talking about MigrateFun because it intersects with 4 different departments of their exchange. And basically what we've learned is that they're forced to talk to us now because we're basically, MigrateFun's a controlled chaos in a sense. And because of that cell mechanism, their users get impacted in some ways. And so they can't just let that go. So now they're forced to talk to us and forced to work with us. So that is a pretty big leverage to hold, right? Because then you can use that in different ways. Obviously, we're not going to use it in a nefarious way. You want to use it to continue to promote the business and grow out the migration industry to, where we think it can go. But having these relationships with all these exchanges will present a lot of other unique business opportunities here in the future. But some of these exchanges, they have no idea how anything on chain works. Some of them are actually quite sophisticated and understand. It's given me a ton of new respect for certain exchanges who actually understand what's going on chain. So I do have a little bit more respect for some exchanges. Other ones are just completely predatory. And that's all the way up at the top as well. So it's unfortunate to see. But some of the other exchanges are, they're quite good in good teams. And so we're going to have to build some third-party tools and APIs to try to automate the system and make it easier. We ran into a handful of new edge cases that were presented in the Pay AI migration, because as Pay AI was migrating, new exchanges were listing the token as the migration was happening. So it presented just all kinds of different unique situations. But I'm glad that we had that now and got that out of the way. And I would say another kind of learning experience is just more on kind of the builder side of things. I've gotten a lot hardened through the migration build out. This is definitely the most demanded product that I've ever built across any of businesses that I've been over my kind of 10-year entrepreneurial career. Especially in crypto, that's so fast moving. And it's taught me that the majority of teams, or I don't know if any team actually, maybe a handful, have the skills that the team of Emblem has to be able to pull off these unique type of products. I mean, we're literally a team of 9 that's had no venture capital funding or angel investors in 9 years. And we're now kind of surpassing, some of these competitors who have hundreds of millions of dollars in funding and 50 to 100 person teams. I mean, we're even talking with exchanges that are, multi 10 deca, $100 billion companies in valuation. And we're just a team of 9. And now they're forced to talk with us because we didn't give up and we knew the product that we had, and we didn't listen to all of this FUD, and we didn't listen to all of these people on the timeline saying different things. We knew what existed. And so, it just proves to me that in crypto, you could just build things, you could just do things and just cut out the FUD. And as long as you're not acting nefarious, then you can have a lot of success. And you do see a lot of people on the timeline, complaining that there's nothing new in crypto, but it's not. What you see on the timeline is just so the complete opposite of what is actually happening. And so if you have an idea, just continue to build it. Don't listen to anybody. And if you just stay the course and there's demand, double, triple, quadruple down in crypto, because there's so many avenues to build things. And MigrateFun has shown us that. Emblem Vault obviously was the first product in the history in the company to find a lot of product market success. And eventually a hustle will come third whenever kind of AI comes back around and people are ready to start using AI interfaces. That could be 2 months from now, it could be 2 years from now, who really knows? But if you have an idea and you have conviction in something, just continue to move forward and don't listen to anyone else.
I agree with all that, but I think one of the things that really stuck out was taking advantage of the edge cases. And I'm sure that some of them were extremely tedious for you guys.
Still working on some of them.
Yeah, but you push through and you figure things out. Now, I'm sure at first, like working with centralized exchanges was a headache, right? And then once you realize, okay, well, this is kind of they need us, and we're going to be, good communicators with them and all these things. Let's just push through to get it past that stage. Whereas other people kind of saw what you guys were building, probably tried to copy it, and then I could see a lot of people getting stuck there and saying, "Oh, this is too much of a headache." But you guys pushed through, and that makes a difference, right? Especially if you are the trendsetter in terms of leading this new meta of migration. I'm curious, this is my last question about MigrateFun. We can get into some of the other products here in a bit, but where do you see MigrateFun in 2026? Let's say like the summer of 2026. Do you see kind of having a presence separately in BSC, having a presence separately in base, and then kind of doing internal migrations first before you guys do any cross chain? Is that a picture that you could see possible?
Yeah, so we're going to build where the demand is. It's still on Solana. It's probably going to continue to be on Solana. So it's basically get a migration pathway to all of the major places that people want to migrate to. We will go cross-chain. We've talked with all the base launchpads. From their perspective, migrations are still a new idea, and the launchpads haven't really taken off. The reason why is on base, most of the products are venture capital backed, so they didn't start on a launchpad, right? And so the launchpads are still kind of meme coins outside of just the AI. So demand is quite low for independent teams who launch through a launchpad that want to basically upgrade or change their circumstance. It's very, very low. Although we want to do cross chain. And then on BSC, the focus is just the token. It's less focus on the project and more focus on the tokens itself. Like talking with Binance, talking with BNB Foundation, talking with different teams on BSC, there is less of a prioritization on the product and more prioritization on the token, and that's from every single level. So therefore, that makes migrations much tougher. I mean, you could get like meme coin migrations and stuff, but there isn't like this utility focus because the focus of BNB and Binance is tokens and not as much products and builders. And that's that's not taking a stab at them or anything. That's just where the culture is on it. But maybe migrations do take off there at some point in time. We'll go wherever the demand is. From the MigrateFun perspective, we'll have the SDK live here, I think next month. So anyone can build with MigrateFun. You want to host the migrations on your own website, you'll be able to do. You have some sort of unique idea with migrations, you'll be able to build with it. Expanding the product line, I think, is something that we've been internally discussing and adding. We've been building snapshot tools, airdrop tools. People have been asking about token vesting, contracts, and things like that. Like that's something that we should just offer in the experience itself, right? You could wrap it up as a hustle subscription. Is probably something that you would want it to do. But a lot of people look for these things, for airdrop tools and stuff like that. So we should just host it, as well as there are some other unique products that people have been showcasing us that would be good for migrations and other things like that. So I think adding or expanding the product line outside of migrations to other relevant items is something of interest, and then continuing to expand the brand and do more migrations. Right. I think our goal should probably be something like $5 million in liquidity a month. I think is something, of sufficiency. I think it's something that's quite doable. Some of the teams that have reached out to us recently are quite large brands, but there's still some hesitancy on the migrations itself because we haven't solidified everything. We haven't solidified all of the exchange relationships. They're still in progress, right? We haven't solidified all of the migration pathways to all of these different exchanges. And we still haven't gone through the PumpFun migration to show it's a proven model. So there's still, 5 or 6 kind of major steps that have to be accepted before it just becomes known that, hey, if you want to migrate, you just use this platform and you can do it in a permissionless way. And it's a proven model. I mean, look at all 3 of our last competitors who had announced a migration tool. None of them ever came to market. And then, the one that they did come to market ended up ending the company. So it's a very tough thing to do. And we're just fortunate to be in this situation, to have the skills and knowledge. And honestly, I'm just blessed to have a really, really solid and intelligent team. Everyone on the Emblem Vault team, from the developers to, the CEO, and everyone in between, just insane business development skills. Everyone possesses something that's truly unique. And I just don't think there's that many teams out there that would be able to do something like this. And so, yeah, we're just going to continue to expand. I think 2026 or December will probably be the breakout month if everything is executed properly. If Pump should bring a lot more attention, and then in Q1 we have some big migrations. Hopefully you start working your way down. You think of a future where we are just basically automated with all the exchanges. You could think of things like, hey, you do a migration and you automatically get a listing on XYZ exchange, right? Or you do a migration and you can bridge your token to XYZ chain, or you migrate your token and all of these other benefits that come into place. And so you could really package it in pretty well. And moving into 2026, I think that's going to be the goal, because and we'll probably get into this with like Agent Hustle, but we're using the last month of December or last month of 2025 to really kind of solidify all of our products, improve them, and be less expansive in the next month or two, more refinement, and then expand afterwards when we're ready, so that you can really take this up to the next level. And finally, the company can be in this like tier one kind of situation with all of these other major products. That's like where our goal is.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be a huge month for you guys in December. I'm actually excited for it. But like you guys aren't just building for yourselves, right? You're building also for the token holders, the people who believe in what you guys are doing with Agent Hustle. And I think that's the best part about crypto is like, people can, take, just believe in you and what you're building and get a part of that. And Agent Hustle isn't just a coin. It's a group of people that are building something that's pretty insane. And I think when people hear about Agent Hustle, they think only the agent, but they're not actually looking at the rest of it. How can you guys like make sure everyone understands that Emblem Vault, Agent Hustle, and MigrateFun are just one arm of the industry?
It's probably the biggest challenge is how to make it very approachable for people to understand, right? Emblem Vault's a unique one-of-one product. MigrateFun is also a unique one-of-one product. And then Agent Hustle is in a new sector that's, that still hasn't really found its breakout kind of moment yet. It obviously had its first kind of meme coin hype, but from a product adoption standpoint, it still hasn't had that, oh shit, this is coming kind of thing. It's still a novelty for most people. So taking 3 products that are quite unheard of and trying to make it approachable is going to be interesting. I think Agent Hustle is going to be kind of eventually the entryway to the product line and eventually to being on chain. I was approaching we had this conversation in our Telegram multiple times of, is the Hustle token right? Should it be the Emblem token? Should it all be one brand? Should it be different brands? And that's a conversation we'll have in the future if the right point in time. But I will say this is when we do have this new SDK that's launched next month, we're going to be able to finally onboard developers to our ecosystem. And as you know, wherever the developers are building is where the money will flow. So if we can get people using the Emblem AI platform, and the Emblem AI platform is Hustle SDK, Emblem SDK, and MigrateFun SDK. You get people using the Emblem AI platform, and you get 5 to 10 developers using this stuff. There will be an enormous amount of attention that comes to it. Essentially, we're launching our own privy product. So we're entering a market that just the company sold for like $300 million, right? And that's just one product line within the wheelhouse. I joined Emblem. And the first thing I ever said was that it was $1 billion company. And so that's definitely the goal and the focus. There's going to be some pretty insane things that could be done with that SDK that we're going to encourage builders to use, but we're also going to build our own. Obviously, Agent Hustle is going to be the entry point for all of that. Emblem Vision, you hope at some point in time is merged into Agent Hustle. I don't know if you'll be able to merge MigrateFun into it or not, because it is a kind of complex program, but the merger of Emblem and Hustle will take place at some point in time. Hustle obviously being kind of the front. I like to say it's kind of like Hustle in the front, Emblem in the back, right? If it's like a mullet kind of situation. And yeah, with this SDK, what's coming is that you're going to be able to sign transactions with the vault itself. For developers, that's going to be quite eye-opening. Most people don't really understand what that means, but Just imagine all of your vaults and wallets inside of your Hustle account can sign transactions. So I'll let some people speculate on that until later on, but that's something that doesn't exist anywhere. And that gives us a profound edge on everybody. Literally every single company. There's no company, no vaulting company that can do that. Not even Layer Zero, that's raised $200 million and has their own vaulting product. So I'll be excited to kind of share that. But with Agent Hustle, we're going to do one release in December with everything that we've created, and it is quite an immense amount. Here, you know what? I'll show you guys kind of what we're showing or what we're doing here.
I feel like Agent Hustle is a product that's just constantly being cooked up. You know what I mean? Which is great because it's like, you know, you're not waiting for the AI product sector to get all the, you know, liquidity and attention. You guys are constantly improving it for when that happens, you guys will be considered one of the best products out there.
That's the goal. I mean, if you guys want to share my screen, I'll kind of show you what we're working on. And this will be all in one release. It's going to be, it's not fully polished yet. But you know, as people know, I always show kind of alpha when we're here, right? So this is the Hustle screen. So you could kind of see all this crazy stuff that's going on here. I don't have anything in this wallet. So you got a Solana, Hedera, BSC, Ethereum, Polygon, and then Swell. This was a grant that we had. So deposits, right? You have this is quite easy to understand. We're going to be making an improvement to referrals. Cross-chain swaps, so you can swap any, and you could do all of this in the prompting center as well, right? So swap Ethereum for Solana. You will be able to swap Ethereum for Bitcoin here pretty soon. It'll show you your history. We have here Binance Smart Chain. We just added conditional trades to BNB. So Ethereum, we have conditional trades for Ethereum. Hedera, we have conditional trades. That's not anything new. And then Polygon conditional trades. This is what I'm most excited for is Poly Markets. This is actually like a pretty crazy product. I've been using this. So you can ask him on his views. Oops. You can ask him on his views, right? So ask Agent Hustle on Super Bowl. And then something new that we're working on here is alerts and notifications. So you'll get alert when people are buying and selling different positions. You'll be able to have him. I need to turn a lot of this stuff on. You'll be able to ask him about all these different prediction markets. You'll be able to, here, I'm going to try that again now that it's on. And if this works well with alerts, we can expand this to every single chain to where you can have, let's say on Ethereum or Solana, you want to monitor a certain token. And if it has volumes or monitor a certain wallet, we want to build this into a terminal because we do feel like that is something that's been largely missed so far is building that terminal-like experience. So if, right here, we're building a terminal where you can see buying and selling of certain bets, and as well as getting his input here on top of the markets and betting. I think that brings a unique dynamic that nobody else has. So there's a lot of stuff here. On top of this, one thing we're working on is we just added email, so you can sign in with the email. Our focus is making it as normie friendly as possible so that you don't have to have any crypto experience. And so we are going to be we're looking to add on and off ramps with USD and bank accounts and Apple Pay. So imagine this situation where you can deposit $1,000 from your bank account into your as USDC into your Ethereum account, or take $1,000 that buys Bitcoin and deposits it into your Hustle Bitcoin account. And then within the Hustle interface, you can swap that Bitcoin for Ethereum or Solana, Hedera, Pepe, you know, any tokens of that ecosystem. And or even deposit you know, for $1,000 from your Apple Pay into USDCE on Polygon, place a Polygon or onto Polygon, place a prediction market, cash that out, swap it back to Bitcoin, and send it to a Bitcoin wallet, right?
So-
Like you could do that all within a Hustle interface.
I mean, if you guys turn Hustle into a terminal, I'm never gonna not use Hustle, because I feel like that is. I think terminals are trying to integrate AI. By you guys doing it backwards, I think would be genius, because the terminal build is simple. I mean, not simple, but like you have the blueprint. The problem is getting a good AI agent to guide you through that, right? So an example would be like setting up conditional trades within a terminal. Money. You're using a 6-month-old token that has been around. It's sitting at $20 million market cap. It's not going to rug overnight. Tell Hustle to put you into a reoccurring 30% scalping plan, right? That's, you just type that in. You don't have to know the configuration of the terminal and this and that. Hustle will set it up for you, right? And so I think that would be absolutely game changing. I will be your number one person to scream to the top of the mountaintops, because it just makes everybody's life easier. And like I always say on the show, if you're building products and you're making people's life more convenient, they will use your product and they'll be loyal.
Yeah, I will say, so take all of that you have, and now add on top of this the Emblem AI platform, where you can sign a vault with your transactions. So think of this situation. You are somebody who doesn't know how to use crypto or whatever. You go to Agent Hustle, you deposit $500 from your Apple Pay into your Solana wallet in Agent Hustle, right? As Solana, you go swap a bunch of meme coins, you buy Pump token, but you want to lend against the Pump token, but we don't have lending. Oh, well, with the Emblem AI platform, we can build a Hustle wallet extension, where then you can, all of your assets in that wallet are now in that wallet extension that you can then go up, or then you can go take that Hustle wallet extension and log into Drift, and then go use that pump to go margin long or short on your Pump token, and you never even have to transfer out of your Hustle account, right? Like, so you and then you can add on Hustle mobile experience, which is something that we're going to want to do. The goal is that Hustle will become the entry point to crypto, just as Coinbase has spent hundreds of billions of dollars on Coinbase being the entry point to the on-chain economy to Base. We're essentially doing the same thing here with 9 people and no funding, where Hustle becomes the entry point to the on-chain economy of any chain. And then we can just build tools using the Emblem AI platform to build out a Hustle wallet, or build out a Hustle mobile wallet, or a Hustle Telegram bot, where your assets inside of the Hustle website are automatically inside of that experience for every single chain, right? So this is something that Coinbase has spent hundreds of billions of dollars on. It's something that Shannon has spent basically the last 10 years building, and myself and everyone else on the team for the last 3. And we basically are building a more advanced version of what they're doing with less tooling and 99% less power and resources.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane. I mean, Shannon's amazing, by the way. Yeah, absolutely. I think absolutely incredible. We have a couple questions here. Is there any interest in Emblem becoming a Hedera Hashgraph Council member? Does that come on the table for you guys?
If they offer it, it's something that we would definitely consider doing. We're just in this situation. We're not at liberty to, spend time thinking about some of these more kind of refined things. We have to generate revenue, or there's no business. So our focus is ensuring that business and revenue is coming to the platform. And if other, councils or other teams or other venture firms want to be the first one to invest into what we're building, the opportunity's there. But we're not at liberty to go, try to find those options, because we don't have enough resources to go to have, be able to sit on 2 years of runway to, think about these things.
100%. And he says expansion of X402, and that's my favorite part. I right now I'm love the X402 narrative. I guess I think futuristic, right? I love the future thinking of what this can be, not what it is now. I think you guys already have that in your head.
The Emblem AI platform, X402 is integrated into all of the vaults. So Pay AI and Coinbase are going to be the 2 facilitators that are added. We're already Pay AI is one of the migrating teams, which is the biggest X402 project, most popular. So we already have, you could just think of, things we've discussed already about it. But, consider this, the Emblem AI platform is basically what we initially had a vision for. It was a multi-chain wallet, which is what a vault is. A vault is just a multi-chain wallet in a sense, right? But it has support for every chain. It has X402 payment rails built directly into it. So you could send, Bitcoin and Ethereum and all these other things cross-chain, as long as there is a facilitator on that network who's verifying those transactions of that pathway. But any AI agent or any AI company, instead of using Privy, you just use basically Emblem AI platform that has X402 into it. And now your AI agent has a wallet with payment rails automatically integrated. And then we can add X402 into Agent Hustle itself. And we are considering, the either blend of the Hustle subscriptions with X402, or the replacement of it. There's kind of discussions on what's the right direction for that, but X402 is not going to go away. It's literally all over the internet now. It's like even outside of crypto, it's like made its way into the AI and tech sector. So that seems to be the form of a payment adoption for agentic pathways using stablecoins. And so we want to be a player in there. We're working with the right people in the Emblem AI platform. Every single vault will support X402 through the Emblem AI platform.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing. WebDro says DCA Hustle. I think everyone should be DCAing Hustle every day. Shout out to WebDro. And Stan says crazy customizable tools for tools that don't exist. Wow.
Yeah, the great thing is so our communities, painfully so, some listen, some don't. We've said that when the technology is right, we will add tokenomics. Well, once the Emblem AI platform's live, then we have the technology to do different types of things, right? So smart vaults are essentially a smart wallet inside of a vault. So basically what it means is it's a smart, in short, it's a smart contract that holds deposit addresses for every single blockchain, right? That doesn't exist anywhere from my knowledge. So we're kind of first to the market here, and there is no Emblem Vault competitor. There's literally none, surprisingly, even over the last 10 years. So, with that, we could do like the Hustle Bridge. Obviously, you have a Privy competitor, and it allows the agents to do all kinds of unique things there. So, really excited. Oh, what I was going to say is, so you could do things like time locked smart vaults, right? So essentially you have like staking, right? Or you have a smart contract based staking. So staking contracts that can do things inside of it that accept all kinds of deposit addresses. You could do things like buying and burning, right? Like those are kind of things that we've been waiting for the platform to get to. You can do different types of airdrop rewards. Although with airdrops, there needs to be some sort of revenue. And right now, there's just not that many people using AI products in crypto. That's just the unfortunate part. So you just have to continue to build. And then eventually you either have to become the narrative, right? Or you have to wait around and let the narrative become to you. And what Emblem has just done time and time again is be the narrative. We're the narrative creators. And so with all of these new products, I just don't think any other AI terminal can compete with something like this. Unfortunately, we probably have the least amount of resources compared to everybody else, but eventually, the work will pay forward and something will happen. This is what continually seems to happen. And we're going to continue to build with people who want to build with us and support the people that support us. And I just think 2026 is going to be gigantic. I mean, we still have a fourth application that's built on, or I guess it would be a third application built on top of Emblem, or fourth, I guess. If you consider Emblem Vision for the NFT bridge, Agent Hustle, MigrateFun, and then this fourth application that we haven't even released, it's built. So at some point that'll be ready. I think once the NFT market starts heating up, which again, we are kind of right on this thesis that the strategies are going to continue to be the dominant factor into 2026 for NFTs. I don't know if you saw like the TokenWorks announcement yesterday, but they're opening up the platform on Tuesday, as well as they launched something called recursive strategies, where it's a strategies token that doesn't have an NFT base, but the token fees buy the token and burn itself. So it's a token that essentially eats itself. So strategies is just going to continue to dominate. And we have Nakamoto strategy, which, buys, we're just taking all the revenue from Emblem and just buying the token. Yesterday, somebody spent half an ETH minting vaults, and we just went and bought Nakamoto strategy with the token, right? So we're almost up to 10% of the token supply that we own of Nakamoto strategy. And so, we'll figure out what to do with it. So a lot of things that are coming to form took us 3 years to get to this point. And as long as we can survive and continue to drive revenue through MigrateFun, then everything that I've just said through this conversation is possible. So we'll see. I mean, we were now, I think, over 700 SOL spent on hustle buybacks as well, even though the hustle token is kind of in the toilet at the moment. Like, it's not going to always be the case. Once we start turning on a lot of these smart vault functions, and obviously you have to time the market as well. Not saying it has to be a perfect timing, but right now is not the time to release anything. I still think around Christmas time is when the market probably resumes back. But 2026 and Q1 specifically, I think is going to be a very, very big time for the company itself.
Yeah, I mean, during the show before the live stream, before you come on, we were going over when the Fed stopped QE was December 2021, and they're stopping QT in December of 2025. So it's almost the opposite of what the start of a bear market would be in macro terms, right? So maybe that year of COVID really did push it out a year, and we just, we're just so stuck in the way that the cycles worked before. But man, I'm excited about everything. And I know MigrateFun is just thriving in terms of revenue generation, but I'm excited almost as much about the future of hustle, because I feel like it can be that one-stop shop. And every time there's an addition, it's not like sitting on your hands and waiting around. Like, what's the team doing? What's the team do? Like, I mean, you just showed us a preview of, I think it was 5 networks that's added to hustle. To me, that's progress, right? And it obviously is, the market needs to be in better conditions. Everything that was up in the summer is down trended because of the current market conditions. So you said that, closer to Christmas is when you think things will get lively. So for the audience, probably whenever things will start to pop a little bit back off. But man, it's been an amazing session with you, Jake. As always, every Friday. I mean, you guys should feel lucky, CEO of a revenue I'm serious. Like, there's not many revenue generating protocols out there, and they are one. And he gives an hour every week to us and you guys. So, really thankful for that. But wanted to give you the stage one last time before we let you go.
Yeah, man. If you're down horrendous, take the time off. This is the time to do it. You're with your family. It's holiday season. So, really go touch grass, refresh yourself. If you're in the hustle community, we continue to push updates out. I recommend to not just focus on price, because you're just going to drive yourself into depression. Unfortunately, it's hard for some people to do that, but we're continuing to build, whether the market's up or whether the market's down. We have again, I think it's one of the best teams in the industry to be able to do what we've done with the available resources that we have. And I think Hustle has the opportunity to be the #1 agent, but also on a larger scale to be the entry point for the non-crypto native to enter the crypto markets in a compatible way that is relatable to them. And that's really our big focus: is show up to Hustle. You have no crypto experience at all. And so, I'm using some friends as kind of test dummies to say, hey, see how far you can take this to and see if it's understandable. I think once we get the on-off ramps with USD, I think that becomes a lot more approachable, as well as the Emblem AI developer platform. So if you're a developer and want to build with any 3 of our products, reach out to us. It'll be kind of white glove at first. So we'll, offer it to the people that want. I mean, Joe Looney's reached out, who's like the Rare Pepe godfather. We've had some pretty interesting developers kind of follow up who want to do things. So if you're interested in the interoperability and intelligence layer of crypto, reach out, buy some Hustle, and I'll see you guys next week.
Sounds good, Jake.
See you guys.
Appreciate it. See you next week.
Yeah, man, absolutely awesome as always. Definitely my favorite hour in a week. I feel like that hour flies by too. I feel like I just have so many questions, and he knocks them out the park every single time. So if you guys are not keeping up with these Friday sessions, I feel like you're really missing out. Definitely got to make, if you don't watch any of the show all week, make sure you guys watching the final hour of the week. But it's been a great show today, man. We crushed it for a Black Friday. Not many podcasts, not many things that are happening. We're still here. We're still rocking with you guys, man. Appreciate every single one of you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And Pensive Chepe, I guess, says, "Yo, we are in a super cycle." Yeah, that is what we kind of just ended the show on, right? It's like this extended business cycle, which typically is the 4-year cycle. And then COVID kind of pushed that out a year. But yeah, appreciate each and every one of you guys. 454 people on a Black Friday is amazing. So we appreciate each and every one of you all. Without you guys, we could not do the show. And we emphasize that every single day because we are very appreciative of your support. And we're also, really grateful for our partners because without them, we couldn't do this as well. Emblem Vault is the interoperability layer of the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you are looking to jump a Bitcoin NFT like a Rare Pepe, Nakamoto card, that type of NFT, or Bitcoin Ordinal over to Ethereum, you've got to use Emblem Vault. Why? Because they've been doing this since 2021. They have the most experience in the space, and they're the most trusted in terms of this type of transaction bridging over, right? And right now, you can actually take a loan out against your Taproot Wizard Ordinal on the Gandhi application, which is the largest borrowing and lending application for NFTs on Ethereum. So make sure you're taking advantage of that service there, and they're going to be opening that up to other scaling layers and just other blockchains in general, right? And one of those is Solana. And speaking of Solana, they have the best AI product in all of Solana and Hedera, because they have Hedera BSC as well, and EVM, or Ethereum, I should say. But right now you can actually ask Hustle, hey, find me a couple low cap gems in the Solana ecosystem. He'll bring back a couple options for you and tell you why these are solid options. There is a free subscription level, so you can test it out with limited number of prompts, just for really kind of getting a taste of it and seeing if it's what you want. And if it is something you like, you can upgrade to the paid subscription, which is what I recommend, because you get all of the tool sets there and a lot more prompts. And you can actually use the Hustle token, which is the single token that powers the entire Emblem ecosystem there. You'll get a 30% discount if you pay in Hustle token there. And then there is another product within the Emblem ecosystem called MigrateFun. And MigrateFun is a third-party servicer that helps you migrate from one launchpad in Solana to another, because that liquidity is locked. They can guide you through the process. They've already been through 2 cohorts. They just wrapped up their last one with big brands like Pay AI, which is the X402 project that migrated. They help them. They walk you through the process, right? Of course, you need your community on board with this, but they're about to go in the 3rd cohort, which we talked about in the Hanging with Hustle hour with the PumpFun group there. So a lot of experience. They're leading this meta. So make sure you check them out at migrate.fun for more questions or anything that you need guidance on there. And you can go to emblem.vision to guide you through their entire ecosystem and break down the products that I just told you about there. And then Merlin Chain is uniting Bitcoin strength through the power of AI. They have their AI Wizard version 2.0 that can guide you through Merlin Chain's ecosystem, but it also can swap for tokens outside the ecosystem. If you have Merlin Chain Bitcoin in your Merlin Chain wallet, which is a MetaMask wallet or one of the Bitcoin approved wallets like Unisat and Xverse, then you can swap for Solana tokens or swap for BSC tokens, as that mechanism is programmed in the wizard there. But going back to the Merlin Chain ecosystem, it can guide you through the ecosystem and do some DeFi functionalities on your behalf, like swapping with Merlin Swap or staking on merlinchain.io. And speaking of staking, they have a proof of stake security model, and you can participate in 3 ways. The first way is staking Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin. The first staking vault ended September 30th. They are 3-month-long staking vaults, and they got 17% APR for their stakers. Imagine earning 17% staking Bitcoin and paid in Bitcoin, by the way. And so their current staking vault goes until January 8th. And then they'll most likely start another one, but you can go to merlinchain.io to learn more there. And then there's 2 other ways to stake utilizing the Merlin Chain token. And the first one is the flexible day-to-day. You earn 15% APR, and you can claim your rewards every single day. You can do whatever you want with those rewards, but you can claim them every single day. If you do want to withdraw your Merlin Chain tokens, there's a 7-day cooldown period, so just know that. And then the last option is the bonded option, which is a 6-month lockup period, and you earn 45% APR for staking in Merlin Chain tokens. Obviously, you get paid back in Merlin Chain token as well. But this one's cool too because you can claim your rewards daily as well. So make sure you go to merlinchain.io to learn all about the ecosystem and the staking and everything they have to offer there. And we thank you so much for checking out our partners.
Yep. Great job, man. As always, and if you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out onchainrevolution.io, we have some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering the space, please send them our website. We really feel like we can help them get started and caught up to what we're doing today. Mainnet is the newest one, kind of breaks it down for you guys so you guys don't have to go after and ask anything or try to find something, right? Everything here is for you. 3 to 4 minute reads. They're very quick. You can probably knock them out quicker than that, honestly. And you guys can check them all out one by one. Just check out all the articles. If you guys need a VPN, I highly recommend Nord. NordVPN is something I use every single day. You guys can lock it in for 2 years, set it, forget it, and then you're able to use stuff like Hyperliquid. I've noticed the other day I was checking out the Phantom Wallet perps, and then it said, not in your jurisdiction. Realized my VPN was off. I was like, damn. So then I turned it back on, and then I'm able to use the wallet perps in Phantom, which is just, Hyperliquid in the back end. So you definitely always need a VPN. But remember, VPNs aren't illegal. Like, they're definitely illegal. Privacy is a right, especially here in the US, for you to put yourself to Italy and check out Italian TikTok or whatever you guys want to do. But check out a VPN here, and don't pay full price. Don't pay $11.59. Make sure you guys get our link and pay the $2.99 there. And on top of that, if you guys need a hardware wallet, we have an affiliate program with a Ledger now. Check out everything here if you guys need anything. Or if you're trying to buy a crypto person Christmas present, check out our deal here with them. Check that out here, guys. Everything at onchainrevolution.io. Remember, guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. Until Monday.
Peace.
On-chain revolution, roll call, market recap. You're not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go, Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. On-chain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and arching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction.